So I will be going through what are some of the challenges which enterprises face using large language models. I will be talking about Microsoft Copilot, and then we will be going through some of the live AI use cases, and then finally we will have a quiz game. Okay, and then you will use your basically a mobile app, and the first three winners will get a prize from Abdullah. Is there? So Abdullah will be giving the first prize. Okay, so let's start. So I think you already know about us. So get to the next slide. Okay, so this is the question which all the IT CIOs and CEOs are asking themselves: that what is a task that I'm already doing that can be improved by generative AI? Okay, if you go to any domain like financial, healthcare, automotive, manufacturing, where do I find? I mean, is there a website where I can go and I can select the vertical and I mean, it can show me all the generative AI use cases which I can do? Yeah, there is one. So if here is a website which I want to show you. So if you, this is from Deloitte, and you can just select the industry out here. So it has like different industries, and it will give you like all the different use cases which where you can use generative AI to make your current process much better. Okay, so I highly advise you to go in there. You will get a lot of amazing use cases. Okay. Um, So what are some of the challenges enterprises are facing using LLM? One is the quality, assurance. If you are a big brand like Nike or something like that, like Sony, right? If somebody goes to your ChatGPT and asks something, you don't want him to give the wrong reply, right? So that is a number one problem, right? So they don't want to give the wrong problem. The second problem is my data. ChatGPT doesn't know anything about your own company data, right? It only knows the public data, right? So, I mean, all the different Fortune 500 company wants to train uh, the large language model on their data. And the third is security, right? So they don't want any of this data to be used in the public domain, right? So these are the now LLMs are often wrong with with answers. Can somebody have faced similar that I mean they have went to like ChatGPT and like asked something and it gave them the wrong response a lot of times, right? So so I went to ChatGPT and I asked him like did Silicon Valley Bank collapse? And this is the reply came to me. Silicon Valley Bank has not collapsed. It is still operating as a successful financial company, which is completely wrong, right? So I made the question a little bit changed. I made it like, why did SVB collapse? And it's completely changed my response now. It is now saying SVB collapsed due to combination of factor. It basically failed due to the subprime mortgages. So as you and me know that that was not the case. SVB Bank failed because of the high rates, right? Interest rates. So it is perceivable but wrong. Now you might so this is called hallucination. Okay, so until this hallucination is gone, you cannot use ChatGPT in like big brands, right? Because if it gives wrong data, then your brand will be harmed. Now, you might say that okay, this only happens for the past events, not for the new events. So I asked another question: how many Model 3 vehicles were produced by Tesla in Q1 to in 2018? And it gives me that it produced about 34,000 vehicles. But if you go and like look at the shareholder letter, you will see that it is not 34, it is only 4,000 vehicles. So it is giving me the right uh, document. It is going through the right document, reading it, but it is not getting the right data. So maybe the model has not seen this information at training time, but that is not the case because it is getting the right document. The model has seen some related information before and it mixes this up, right? So How can we reduce hallucination, and how can we teach LLM new information? So that is the number one question, right? That how do we reduce? So this is the flow chart which we use right now. So okay, so we ask a question, that question is converted to a prompt, and that prompt is sent to an LLM, and then we get the response back, right? So this is what is currently used. Now, what we will do, there is a new thing which has came out about a few months back, which has completely changed this. It is called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. So what you do, that you ask a question, and you get it, and you send that question to the vector database. The vector database basically gives you all the related files to that question, and then you send that question plus the related file as a prompt to the large language model. So you are basically telling the LLM that do not use anything which you have the knowledge. I will give you all the files, and I will give you the question. You basically use the question on the files which I am providing to you. So this will reduce that, hallucination. Okay. So we have, in the past couple of months, we have made a lot of application live on ChatGPT sort of frameworks, and these are some of the problems we face. So because we are now using for the RAG, we have to use a vector database. So how we can create a production ready vector DB, and then how can we make sure that the bot is continuously giving the right answers? How can we serve large open source models? Because these models like Llama, Lambda, this requires a lot of GPUs, right? So you need a very big hardware, and like that is a lot of cost for it. So, and then deploying the bot as a scalable API, okay, and then collecting feedback from stakeholders. So how do you collect feedback that my bot is working properly, right? So that's also a hard way. So all this thing is being addressed by Copilot for Microsoft 365. This came out last month, so pretty near. Okay, how does Microsoft Copilot works? So you ask a question that goes to the Copilot, and then the Copilot basically gets the data from the Microsoft Graph. Okay, and then that data plus the question is being sent to the large language model, and then the response comes back to you. Okay, so so the good part about Microsoft 365 is that every company is on Microsoft 3. So I mean, most of the Fortune 500 company uses Microsoft 365. We use Microsoft 365. We use for Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? So all the data is already there. So if I ask, I mean, right now, if I want any Word document, or if I need any PowerPoint presentation, I have to go. I mean, how do I do it right now? I have to go to the SharePoint search and search for it. It will give me 5 files. Then I have to open up the first one, second one, third one, right? And then get it. It's a long process. Now I can just ask any question. It will get the right data. So it is an out of the box available. Microsoft is charging $30 per user for this Copilot. Okay, so this is now you can also now you will say that okay, I just don't want to use this for my Microsoft Office documents. If I have any third-party applications like Oracle Fusion, SAP HANA, if I just ask a question that tell me all the new customers came last month, it should show me their list. So you can also extend Microsoft Copilot. Okay, so the plugin, and I think that is where our work will come because we are a services company. I think every single company will move to Microsoft Copilot because I mean, I want to move it too because the value is amazing, right? Because I can now just ask any question and it will give me the right document or the right tab. So every company will be moving to Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft Office 361. Microsoft revenue will double triple because they will sell this $30 per license for any company. So you can imagine that their revenue will go up a lot. So Microsoft is planning is really focusing on this, and you will see a lot of things happening. There is a if those people who are interested to learn more about Microsoft 365, there is an event happening January 31st in Mumbai. On with Microsoft is doing that same event in New York, so we are going to New York for this event. But if somebody wants to go that same event, it's also happening. So. We said that, okay, how do we extend the Copilot and how you can also build your own Copilot? Okay, so you can do that, and I mean there is a tool which is available which is called Microsoft Copilot Studio, and I will give you a live demo for it, so you will understand how to create your own Copilot, or you can the I mean $30 per user, which is the Microsoft Copilot. You can also extend that. Okay, so you can do there are a lot of tools available by which you can do that. You can use Azure AI Studio, you can use Microsoft Copilot Studio. We will be using in this demo the Microsoft Copilot. So two things, I mean, like, we will be able to customize, which is called the skills and the knowledge. So what is skills and the knowledge is, I'll just quickly show it to you. So out of the box, if you ask any question on the Microsoft 365 apps, it can answer. So that is out of the box available. But if you want to talk to SAP, or if you want to go talk to Oracle or Salesforce or any other non-Microsoft products, then there are some of the plugins are there, but most of them are not there. So you have to create a plugin. Okay, so it will give you real-time data back. If you have data, like you might have data warehouses, SQL Server, Databricks, right? So you can also use, there is something called graph connectors. So you can bring all that data which you want inside the Microsoft Graph. Okay, so these are the two ways you can bring the data inside so if you ask any question inside the Microsoft Copilot, then it will answer. Okay. Any question, anybody so far? Yeah.
Mentioned about the licensing, so licensing, $30. That's like for a period of 1 year, 1 month.
Monthly, yeah, yeah, $30 per month.
$10.
30,
$30.
$30 per month. 45 good question. So I think how does the plugin works? It's that this is the Copilot. You basically call the Copilot service. It will find out the right plugin to use, right? So like I said, that there are a lot of plugins already available, but mostly are not available. If you have your own custom application in Java or .NET, it won't be there, right? So you have to create that plugin for you. You have to put it in this plugin, catalog. But the good part is that based on the question, it will automatically get the right plugin. And based on, like, if I ask a question, give me all the tickets assigned to me in Jira. So it knows to call the Jira plugin, and it will pass my name in that API call, so it can bring back all the tickets assigned to me. So it knows all that. That is all done through generative AI. Okay. So I get all the plugins. I basically determine the user intent, identify most plugin, generate the plan. It will execute the plan, and then so the question was that, do I have any work assigned to me? It found that which is the right plugin for this. It will then call that particular plugin API, get the response, and then it replies me back that you have two items assigned to you in priority metric, item 1 and item 2. Plugin building blocks, there are API, manifest file, and then the adaptive card. Okay, this is just for knowledge. If you guys do the workshop, then you will be creating these things when you will create the plugin. Here is a demo. I mean, this is saying find any Jira tickets about DNS issue, then draft an email I can send to the users based on the help desk knowledge base article. So it will find, it will go to Jira, it will get all the tickets which are related to the DNS issue. It will then draft an email and then it will send to the person. So if you don't have something like this, then you have to do all of this. Like, think about the time. You will go to Jira, you will do the search, you will get, figure out all the documents related to the DNS issue, how that was solved, and then you draft an email. I mean, this can be a good example in ServiceNow, right? ServiceNow has a lot of knowledge base articles, right? So something like this also has a ServiceNow, plugin also. So now, so the new UI is not to go to ServiceNow. The new UI is what? What, what do you see from this? The new UI. The new UI is you just ask a question and it gives. So I think that's where everybody is moving to now. That the new UI is just chatbot, English language conversation. I think this is basically showing a similar thing. So if you want real-time data, you will call the plugin. If you want, you can also call, external database. You're using the Microsoft Graph connector. So a lot of data is in data warehouses and other, big data repositories, right? So you can have both. It's not just one or the other. Now, behind this, there is I mean, this is another demo of this is a demo where I am asking fetch and make a list of products which have quantity in stock less than 50. So normally if I don't have a Microsoft Office 365, I will go to, basically SAP HANA and I will put that particular product name, or I will say, okay, give me all the products which has quantity less than 50, right? But it's a very complex process. I can now just ask that question, and this is how it works. It will find the right plugin, call the plugin, and then it will give me the response back. And I think here's a demo of it, how it works. So I basically go to my Teams. I will go to Microsoft 365. I will add that particular plugin, and now I can ask any questions to that. So you have to add that plugin. So that if I go to Office. That particular plugin field, there are a lot of plugins available. So whichever plugins are assigned, which you are, because there could be hundreds and thousands of plugins. So, but you might be just working with only 4 or 5, right? So you have to enable those plugins, like speak to them. Like I mentioned to you that besides plugin, there is also graph connectors. So the graph connectors is used to connect to non-real time data, right? So you can also do that. And how many people are familiar with the graph? There is a graph DB, graph DB. Yeah, graph DB. So graph DB. So Microsoft uses graph DB. That's a big graph. If I went to admin.microsoft.com, I went to settings. I saw my graph DB, and it's amazing to see that it has all the security and everything. That's the number. One of the customers said to me that I want to create a ChatGPT plugin. So one of our data scientists, he put all the files and, but he said that, okay, if I am the manager and he doesn't have, permission to the file, how can he can also see that file? I mean, I want that permission to be, there, right? So yeah, but all that is already built in, so you don't have to now do anything. So this AI, orchestration, this is the key, which basically helps in calling the right plugin and the right graph connector. So this AI orchestration is the key to the Microsoft Copilot. Just for a moment. This is basically the same thing. It's that same flow, which we just. New York City recently launched Microsoft ChatGPT. So, so now they have this chat now, my chatbot. So they created a chat bot. So it says MyCity. So now I can ask any question about how to pay my traffic ticket, how if I am planning to open up a new restaurant, how to get and I apply for the license. Previously, I had to go and search for it, or now I can just ask anything. So anybody wants has any question we want me to ask out here, or I can just use one of this. How do I avoid noise violation and complaints from my construction company? So I can just ask this question and it will give me the answer. So I think what I'm thinking, if New York City is doing it, all the different states in the world will be coming to this ChatGPT sort of a thing. Previously, ChatGPT was just only text, right? In the newer version, they basically now support also images and videos. So if I ask that, okay, if I give this four images and I give the master copy and then ask the question that out of these four images, which is not matching with the master one, it gives me the right response. So what I'm trying to say that you can use the Azure AI, the Azure Vision feature in your Copilot, and then you can also have the audio and video together. There are so many use cases for that. So this is, I'll just go through the main example, so it will make more sense. Yeah. So out here, I'm it is showing that I have to register for one of the Microsoft conferences. So I basically ask him that which dates works for me. It will go to my Outlook calendar, and it says that the conference which is happening in Mumbai, you can, it will work for you. And then it is asking me that upload your passport copy. It basically takes my passport copy and it says that you will need a visa to travel to, basically India. And then it basically creates a ticket in ServiceNow to apply for the visa. So now I don't have to do all this multiple things. I can just have this chatbot in this with the site, and then I can just converse like this. So this is one of the use cases. Another use case which I love is this. Instacart, have you heard of this? Instacart. Instacart is an online grocery in the US, very famous. Everybody use. I use it. So I can scan my uh, grandma's recipe. It will get all the things which I need to make this cake, and it will put all those, basically, ingredients in the shopping cart just from the recipe. And then those ones, I mean, which I already have, I can just, remove it from my shopping cart. So this is another great feature. Okay. Another one which I love is this. So, like I said, that ChatGPT now supports video also, right? So I basically got into an accident. I took a video of my car. This is not my car, by the way. So, and then I uploaded it in the ChatGPT. It didn't just tell me that where is the uh, the dent is, but it also tell me the reason for that dent, that why that dent could have happened, and that was the right reason. It said that you have parked, when you were driving back through something, it basically you might have scratched it. So it gives you the car details, the damage description, everything. So yeah, how to work. License plate model can be approximate a description of car damage. So just with a video, it can create that whole thing for you. Hello everyone, can you hear me? Yes. Yes.
Yes, Ram.
Yeah. So team, as Mas clearly explained, the real time use cases and what all new is happening with the large language models in the AI space as such.
the most important thing that you might have noticed across the presentation, that what a large language model or a chat GPT would do is to reduce the number of interfaces. So let's say you were using you were using Microsoft Copilot, and you were trying to inquire as such how many support tickets have been raised in ServiceNow. You need not go to ServiceNow, open the query sheet, and put all the queries and then put on. You can directly talk to the ServiceNow application directly via your Microsoft application. So that is one of the biggest use cases, that it reduces the number of interfaces, and that can be done with implementation across all the integration that you can think of. Let's say you have an in-house CRM applications called Zoho, and you want to see how many leads have been generated in the past 1 month, or what were the opportunities converted. You can directly integrate that in-house, or that Zoho or the CRM platform to your system that you want to interact with, and generate queries directly. So it is not just about how good you are in querying, or what applications you are using to query the overall the questions that you think of. It's about how seamlessly we can do this without and just having a simple plugin level integration, and that database now is accessible to you on your interface, and just you can interact to it like a chatbot. The most important use cases that are there across large language models and ChatGPT, and for all the real world case studies with the innovation in the AI field, we are talking about three most particular in this cases. The first one is related to the insurance one. So when I talk about, sorry, yes. So let's say we talk about the accidental insurance policy, and whenever we try to put a claim onto it, how do we do it? Sorry. Okay. So let's say you have met with an unforeseen circumstance, which in this case would be an accident. How would you do? You report the insurance, you report the unforeseen instance to the company itself. The company lodges a complaint. There is a claim assessment in charge, or an inspector who comes and assesses the kind of damage that has happened. And then the repair shop carries the repair work. So it's like a 5 to 6 step process, wherein you need to go through the entire process of, first of all, reporting the problem, then asking for a documented solution, then having a representative assist you in such a manner so that this entire process can be carried out across its value chain. Now, when you talk about insurance, sorry.
We were just, talking about the COVID stuff.
Sure.
Okay. Is it mute? How do I mute the mic? Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So this is one of the most prominent examples in terms of ChatGPT and large language model implementation into the insurance space. You need to automate this entire activity and provide a seamless platform, a singular interface where you can directly communicate your query, get the resolution, and get the work sorted. Now, a simple example to it is the solution that we have thought about and we have implemented over here. A simple example of where you have met with an accident, and now you have an image that you would like to provide to the insurance provider, so that they can go through with the process and then decide as to what was the level of the impact of the damage as such, and how can the process be taken forward. So the first thing that they would ask for is an image. So in this application particularly, we have inputted the image, and now what this application would do is that it will first of all take the image for inspection, and then it will summarize the findings, that whatever it could see. Like if you look at it very clearly, it's a Tesla car, and in that it could see a white car with a damaged front end. So if you look at it clearly, it is very simply able to diagnose that what was the problem and what was the issue, that why you are reporting this particular insurance claim. Apart from that, any other additional document that you need as part of the insurance claim, you can also input it over here. And what that does is that whenever somebody from the service provider side who's using this application, they can just see they can see the document, that is your insurance document, and then finally what it will publish the result at the bottom, which will be the what kind of data is submitted in the insurance document, and what are the various fields that they should know before they can start the claim process. So if you look at it, the insurance document has been completely summarized. It was able to find out the key details from the document and the image. So the image was for to understand what was the problem actually, and the details related to the insurance policy itself. So what this has done is that it avoided the hassle for the service provider to go through the physical inspection of the car or the damaged product as such, and to also avoid the hassle of going through the entire document to only get the information that is required out of it. So with this, we can save countless number of manual hour effort, because it is not just one claim that happens in the insurance industry. There are multiple and thousands of claims happening every day across all with the big players as such, and they need manual labor to actually go through this entire documentation process. So this solution overall reduces the manual effort and then summarizes the finding to the details as which are requested. This is one of the most simplest and kind of a summary level use case in terms of the insurance domain. Second, let's move on to the second use case. Now, the second one is primarily, First of all, what kind of solution stack that we are using to reach to that level where an entire document is being analyzed, the image is being analyzed, and then using the large language model, that is the Azure UI, you can come to a summary, or you can come to the original findings of the page and then hence reduce the manual effort overall. So this is the solution tech stack that would be used behind this entire application to reach to that particular level. A simple overview application diagram is that, let's say somebody called Sam has uploaded an insurance document, and the Azure Document Intelligence now understands the document type, takes out the key details, extracts it, and the image inspection solution behind it understand the captioning of the inspection, and then the entire process or the entire document is summarized with resolution. So this is one of the basic understanding or the basic implementation of how a large language model can revamp or revolutionize the insurance sector as such. Yes. Yeah.
In picture, let's say me and my friend both have the same car, this Tesla and white. I went with an accident, right? A huge damage, and I have the picture. Right. Another person was a very minor, which basically, let's say, insurance doesn't cover it. Right. He just use my image, but use his own document and attach. Is there any option like that?
It shows that which is your car make model here. It was showing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
So from the picture.
yeah. So I mean, so I think from that photo, it will know that this is a white car, which model, which brand, and if I have given you it, right, you know,
The question is, I think, more about the authenticity of the image.
Right. So this is like, since all the products that are related to the large language models and AI are in the initial phases for now, these solutions will improve over time. So as and when, if you look at it, the Google Gemini is the new large language chatbot which is coming up, that also tries to identify whether the image is plagiarized or not. Like if you look at the deepfake AI videos as such. So nowadays the solutions are also being generated by the AI content generator itself, which tells whether a particular thing is a plagiarized image or whether it's a real image. So that is another level of checking that happens between the system, where an image also is matched against the original pixels, and then because it's all ASCII coded, right? So you can then match the coded data and then understand whether the image was actually correct, or was it plagiarized, or was it a deepfake AI video. Because let's say what is happening right now, I think it was recently in news that a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of YouTube reels, let's say of somebody doing a podcast, let's say Joe Biden is doing a podcast, you can use the deepfake technology itself to change entirely what he's saying, and along with the lip movement as well. So this is a big bottleneck in terms of the large language model application, and this will eventually follow, because this is just an initial level or a version 1 or a beta product, you can say. As and when we move on to the later stages of the reaching to the better stages, this will also be a part of the checklist that will happen. Because again, for the insurance industry, for the banking and financial and healthcare industry, a lot of the time, a lot of information depends upon whether the content is actually correct or not. So at the first level, they will check the content, whether it's right or not, and only then proceed with the later processing activities of it. Apart from that, other industries like retail, like Mustafa showed the example of Instamart, right? Wherein you can upload an image, it can read through the content, what is being asked in the intent, and should that image nobody would want to plagiarize, because it's a very short short usage kind of an image. But in this a scenario wherein you are supposed to claim money out of an organization, they will always have a checklist of what kind of data is going and whether that data is correct or not, and how can we avoid plagiarized data in that case. Yeah. Now, the second case study, which is similar to the related use case of it's called a Call Insight Pro. Now, if you understand the nuances of ITIL and the service delivery model, what happens is across most of these industries, a manual intervention at the level one is required. Let's say you have met with an accident once again. If I dial to a number and if I reach to an IVRS platform where an automated system is talking to me, I would not be very much satisfied because I am in need of an emergency resolution and I need somebody sitting at the other end to understand that what my problem is. That can easily happen with a Zomato order or something, wherein the losses are pretty less. But when it comes to an healthcare or an insurance where the stakes are very high, you need a solution that is robust enough and which understands the call and the caller and the problem and provides the right resolution. So this is the second case study. This is the second solution called Call Insights Pro. Now, what this Call Insights Pro does is that, let's say there is it. So at a customer support level, at the support inquiry level, it will try to understand that whenever a customer has called, what was the sentiment behind the customer calling, what was the quality of the call, what response was given by my service provider as to whether they were able to satisfy the problems that were submitted by the person or not. So let's say I'm taking a simple example. I'm just playing this small recording. If you let me know if you can hear this.
Sure. Said correctly, you'd like to apply for a loan even though you'll be moving soon, is that right?
Yes, exactly. So I'm planning to relocate soon, but I would like to apply for the loan first so that I can purchase a new home once I go there.
And are you planning to sell your current home?
Yes, I will be listing it on the market soon and hopefully it'll sell quickly. So I'm applying for a loan now so that I can purchase a new house in Nevada. And
Right. So I'm not going to play the full recording. This was just to provide the context, as in there's a conversation happening between somebody who's requesting for a service and somebody who's at the end to provide the service. Now, when we analyze the call, what this application primarily does is to understand the sentiment of the caller as to whether they were angry, whether they were sad, whether they were happy with the resolution, whether they were proactively responding to the queries raised by the person who was in a disarray and the person responding to it. So what this application or what this solution does is to analyze this entire audio file or an entire transcript of it. It tries to understand via transcription what was the tone of the people who were talking on the call, whether the customer support executive was able to respond to the query promptly, were there any other concerns that were raised by the person which might have been missed by the person who was answering the call. So it is just like somebody is listening and somebody at an audit level is listening to the entire call and then helping the customer support executive to be more robust and more proactive in his next findings or his next discussion. So by this, what we can do is that this solution allows you, or this solution allows the entire organization which deals with a lot of customer support ticket to make this process or make this entire cycle more clean and without mishappenings in terms of it. So that is second use case that we wanted to highlight, that is Call Insights Pro, wherein the support delivery or the support executives team will be monitored at each and every level, and with their own feedback, they can improve their own services. The solution tech stack to it again is a very simple one. There is an Azure speech platform integrated with Azure language, and finally Azure OpenAI, that is the large language model, which will be the base of analyzing what was the speech and the conversation regarding, what were the languages interaction, what was the sentiment of the interaction, and what kind of and in what duration were we able to provide the resolution to the problem as such. This is again a second use case example of it. The application overview diagram is that there will be post-call audios. Every single call that happens via the system will be recorded. And then those post-call audios will go through a transcription model and transcription mechanism. And then analysis will be done using the large language models OpenAI. You can always provide the inputs as to what kind of a sentiment and what kind of outputs we are looking for. We can configure that via the language models and the OpenAI stack. The first output that comes out of it is the intent classification, that is with what intent the problem was raised and how was the resolution reached. Secondly, summarization with resolution. Was the call end? What was there an end to the particular call, or was it abruptly closed? Was it positively handled, negatively handled? Was the summary that was provided along with the resolutions, was it impactful enough for the customer so that the solution can be achieved? And thirdly, a simple one, assistance for Q&A. Like as you already know, at an ITIL support level, there are L1, L2, L3, and L4 people. Normally, what every organization tries to do is to reduce the number of L1 and L2 tickets by shift left policy, where they try to move all the major tickets onto the L3 or the L4 support. They try to reduce the number of queries at the level 1, level 2 itself, so that the volumes are managed and not a lot of manpower is needed in terms of using those people to sort those tickets. This is the second example of it. The third one is travel agent. Now this is as obvious as it's over here. What will a travel agent do for you? An AI virtual travel agent. You want to travel to Hawaii, you want to travel to, let's say, Macau, and you do not know what plans or which websites you should be targeting in order to summarize your search. What we have done over here is that we have integrated this large language models with 3 platforms. One is Skyscanner, one is hotels.com, and one is booking.com. Sorry. Yeah. And yeah. So with these, what it primarily does is that, let's say you want to Google that you want to go to Hawaii. What will Google do? Google will give you a link, thousands of hundreds of links it will provide you, where you can then narrow down your search to. But how do you know whether a particular link is right or not? Then you go to these websites which are Skyscanner, booking.com, in order to get to a right solution to your problem. What this particular application has done, it has created an interface where you directly talk with all these 3 applications at a time. And your summaries, which you will, and the findings that you will get out of it will be real-time data. It will not be a static data that was, from 2022 or 23. It will provide you the data at the real-time instance, because it's an API integrated kind of a solution. So a simple use case analysis of it, I'll just show you that as well. Right. So this is a simple chat-based application where, first of all, you are welcome to your travel assistant. There is a small introductory message, and you can copy and paste your queries. Like I've already have a query that, what are some good hotels for family in Toronto? Now, if I just put enter here, already ChatGPT is doing that. Like if you directly go to ChatGPT and ask for this question, it will give you a static solution. It will give you the list of items which may or may not be relevant to the current scenario. But with our solution, what we have done is that, since this is integrated to TripAdvisor, this is integrated to bookings.com and Skyscanner, the output that you will receive out of this entire exercise will be real time and will be based on, so you can also put in dates, like you want to travel in March. So it will give you booking details, the flight detail, the scenarios, your entire itinerary will be prepared based on the March. It will consider all the variables that can be involved in such a query. And those are all real time data, again, as I'm pointing out. So what it's doing right now, it's first of all hitting this various APIs in terms of getting out data. It's like the first, it took the first step, and it also highlights the status, as in what all APIs did it hit, what all data was retrieved out of it, and it summarizes all the findings. This is another very good example of in terms of implementation. Now, many a times people will come and, the customers will have the questions related to, like, why do we need such an interface to do it? Why can't we just directly do it via Google? Yes, you can of course do it via Google. But the problem is, again, that you need verified solutions and verified outputs that you would require to plan your itinerary properly. This, because it's linked to 3 most common and most important travel platforms, the output that you get out of it will be more trustworthy in terms of your usage. So you can directly trust the application in terms of what it gives you as an output and use that particular itinerary as per your usage. This is the third use case that we have. The solution can be reached in any ways, right? If the API is openly available, anybody can configure. Like, we can also decide if we do not need a Skyscanner as an API, we can use some other portal as well. But then we'll have to, it's a configurable option. Yeah. Because this is just an example of a use case, let's say limited to a travel portal. Now, let's say you want a healthcare kind of a chatbot where you want to understand that, a particular medicine is available on 1mg or you want to make a booking into Vedanta or Manipal, every platform that has a solution as such in place where they can provide an API endpoint to us, we can integrate to that and then configure that large language model to provide that output. This is not limited to a particular industry as such. It can be catered to different industries considering what kind of endpoints that we are open to or accessible to. A simple example to it, this is an application overview diagram. User puts a query. There is a travel bot based on LangChain and Azure OpenAI, and the database it uses to provide you the output of it. Now, again, since if you look at the entire diagram over here, there is no mention of any particular integration or an application as such. It is just in generic terms that we can integrate to as much whatever database we can, and then the only part of the LangChain and the OpenAI would be to configure the results as per your usage. This is again a very generic solution in terms of that. That's it, team, from my side.